This is John Linnaball from John Linnaball Tutoring, and here's a little bit of last-minute advice about what to bring to the SAT on October 1st, which is the next date. It's about a day away from when I'm recording this. So we can see that's the next SAT test day. And by the way, if you're taking the November SAT, October 7th is when you need to do that if you don't want to pay extra fees. So you should definitely be on that. But let's take a look at the test day checklist. And notice this is at collegereadiness.collegeboard.org/SAT. So you can go check all this out yourself and get all these other great SAT prep things. So the test day checklist. First of all, you should probably make sure that you know where your test site is, especially if you didn't register in time to be able to take it at the high school that you attend, or if the high school you attend doesn't actually offer the SAT. So first of all, you want to check for test center closings. So that's posted a few days before the test date. So let's take a look at the test center closings here. And all right, it's taking a little bit to open here. Anyway, that's where you could find test center closings. So, okay, I don't see, okay, I see a few, High Tech Chula Vista, North Hills Christian, oh, in Vallejo, that's not too far away. So there's a few places that are closed. Definitely you should check to make sure your test center is not closed. You would think that they'd notify you, but I guess that's a lot of notifications. So print your admission ticket, go to your College Board account and print out your admission ticket. They won't let you into the test center without it. That seems especially true if you're not taking it where you go to high school. I guess if you're taking it where you go to high school, they might actually know you and let you in. Don't count on it. This is going to be one of your earliest lessons in that anything that's administered on a large scale by a bureaucracy, you aren't going to get any sort of special treatment. So bring your admission ticket. Bring acceptable photo ID. What is acceptable photo ID? Well, acceptable photo ID is going to be government issued ID with your picture on it, written in English. And could also be your high school ID if that has a photo on it. So those are important things to bring with you. And here are the ID requirements. The ID checklist, be a valid, that is not expired photo ID that's government issued or issued by the school you currently attend. And school IDs from the prior school year are valid through December of the current calendar year. So, okay, so you could use last year's student ID. Has to be original, not photocopied. It has to have your full legal name exactly as it appears on your admission ticket, including the order of the names. So you can't say if your name's Turner Smith, can't be Smith Turner. They know that they can catch you with that, or that you might try to pull something over on them. So it should have a recent recognizable photograph, be in good condition, So that's great. You should have two number 2 pencils with erasers. I would suggest bringing 5 or 6. You might as well sharpen them all before you come and just have several of them. You can use extra pencils as little rulers if you're going to try to use the ruler method on a diagram that has been drawn to scale on the SAT. It's nice to have a watch without an audible alarm. Definitely please bring a watch or go buy a little tiny little timer that doesn't make any noise. You're going to want to use that to pace yourself on the different exam sections, especially if you end up in a room with there is no clock. You want to bring extra batteries and backup equipment. What they mean is bring an extra calculator or bring extra batteries. You will have to get permission to access them. Raise your hand, get a proctor, say, my battery ran out of my calculator, I need to replace it. They can't be on your desk during the test in case there's some way you can use them to cheat. You probably want to bring a bag or a backpack if you're going to be carrying things with you, such as a drink or snacks. Breakfast before you arrive. Of course, that's assuming that you're a breakfast eater. If you're somebody who doesn't normally eat breakfast, I don't recommend that you eat breakfast on the day of the test. You don't want to feel any different than you normally do in school. Unless, of course, you're always really tired in school, then yes, hopefully you'll be awake and energetic. Definitely make sure you get a good night's sleep before the test, by the way. Don't stay up all night trying to do extra SAT problems. The night before the test, basically do a little bit of review, read a few things, go to bed about 9 or 10 at night, so that way you can get up in lots of time. What not to bring. You don't want to bring any devices, anything that's electronic other than a CD player if you're going to take the language with listening subject test, in which case they tell you to bring a CD player and they'll tell you what kind you can bring. Any kind of audio recorder, player, tablet, laptop, notebook, Google Glass, any other kind of portable computer or wearable. That includes a smartwatch. Just wear a regular watch, not a smartwatch. iPods, MP3 players, iPads, tablet devices. And no, I don't think if you say it's not an MP3 player, see, these are all MP4s, that's not going to get you anywhere. Obviously any kind of computer, laptop, notebook, PDA, personal computing device, any device you can use to text. Just if you can use it to communicate with anybody else who's in the room or outside the room, you're not going to be allowed to bring it. Cameras or other photographic equipment, that's because they don't want you to take pictures of it and send it to people in different time zones to say, hey, these are all the questions. This might be on here. Make sure you know how to answer this question. That was happening a long time ago before they even had picture phones or anything like that, before they had smartphones. People would figure out how to record it and then quickly get that over to somebody in another time zone. For example, people taking the SAT in New York would figure out a way to get that and print it onto pencils that people in California were bringing into the test, if I recall correctly from the news articles that I read. If you do that, you're an idiot and you deserve to get caught, even though that's a really clever thing. In the larger scheme, you're an idiot, so please don't try to cheat on the SAT. Any kind of separate timer, I don't know what they mean by a separate timer. I'm pretty sure a little digital watch clock, you can just say, oh, well, it's just a watch with no band on it. But okay, fine. Any sort of egg timer or anything that makes noise or whatever. Okay, protractors, compasses, rulers, fine. There's probably some way you could use that to cheat. I don't know why they don't want you to bring it, but they don't. Highlighters, colored pens, colored pencils, I don't know, but that's the rule. Pamphlets or papers, duh, that has writing on it. Dictionaries or other books, okay, you can't use anything, even if English is not your first language. Food or drinks, okay, you're not allowed to bring any kind of food or drinks, okay, unless it's a testing accommodation where you have to be allowed to have food or drinks. Okay, you'll have to turn off all electronic devices. That includes cell phones, hell, especially its cell phones. Turn off your watch alarm. So just don't bring anything that has an alarm or makes noises or rings or beeps or buzzes. And why test centers are serious about security and quiet, so prohibited devices, which include cell phones, tablets, and MP3 players, must be turned off and put under your desk. Better yet, leave them at home. The reason that the College Board wants you to leave them at home is because, one, if you come in and they take it away from you, there's no guarantee you're going to get it back. They don't want the hassle of you complaining about, someone took my $750 iPhone and I never got it back. They're not going to want to hear it. They've warned you. Well, they will warn you down here. And also, they don't want anybody else to complain, no matter how spurious, that means fake, the complaint is that, well, somebody's alarm beeped for a minute when I was taking the test and that really adversely affected my score. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but the SAT people want to protect themselves from any kind of claims of unfairness, so that means they're going to be equally unfair to everybody on this thing and just say, no, you can't bring any kind of electronic thing. If you do bring it, we're going to take it away from you. And as it says here, if you bring or use prohibited devices, the test administration staff is encouraged to collect and hold phones and other prohibited electronic devices during the test administration, including break periods, or to deny admission to anyone who's in possession of a prohibited electronic device. Let me break that down for you. That means they're going to let the staff at the test site decide what to do with your phone. They can take it and hold on to it, or they can not let you take the test if you're bringing it in. So that would suck. I mean, if you said, well, geez, you can hold on to it, and they'll say, no, 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 we're going to send you home. So great. Somebody who decides they're Rambo is going to send you off to take this thing. Really don't need that. You don't want to lose your phone, as I said, and Just means, what if somebody has a problem with you and they decide to mess with you because they're like, I'm a proctor, and oh, you brought your cell phone in. Don't give anybody that kind of chance to hurt you. I know it's a little melodramatic, but just don't. Just leave your cell phone comfortably charging at home, waiting for you to get home victorious over the SAT. If your device makes noise, again, you can be dismissed immediately, your scores could be canceled, and the device may be confiscated and its contacts inspected. Oh, great. So they'll take apart your phone and probably give it back to you broken. Oh, sorry, we had to take it apart. Um, and it's to cover themselves. They say the College Board is not responsible for loss or damage to personal items, including electronic devices, while you're in the test center. So that's the way it is. They definitely are not going to take responsibility if they take your nifty electronic PDA or iPad or iPod or i this or i that, and you don't get it back or it comes back broken. So please don't bring that. What to expect on test day? Okay, the SAT essay. All right, the doors open at 7:45. So that means you probably want to get there about 7:30. If you aren't taking the test at your high school, then you definitely need to make sure that you've been there before. I would suggest that you drive down there or walk or take the bus or however you plan to get there. If you're planning on driving, make sure you know how to get there by walking or taking the bus or riding a bike or something in case your car breaks down. It's what my father called the perversity of inanimate objects, and what a lot of people call the perversity of inanimate objects is just machines seem to know when you're in a hurry and they break at the absolutely worst time. Now, I know that's really just because you don't really care if it breaks when there's not a big deal, but you'll always remember, oh, I was going to take the SAT and my car broke, and that's why I didn't get into Stanford. You'll remember that. So plan for the worst thing to happen. That's Murphy's Law. Whatever will go wrong can go wrong. See, that went wrong by quoting it. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So testing starts between 8:30 and 9. It's not an exact science. It depends on how many people are having problems, depends on how long it takes you to get in there, etc. Okay, so it says, all right, the test supervisor will tell you when to start and stop. They will read all instructions verbatim from a manual, can only answer questions about procedure or test questions or content. Again, usually they choose proctors who really don't know much about the topic for that specific reason, because they don't want anyone being accused of helping anybody on the test. You can only work in the section of the test that you have been assigned to work on, and only for the time. You can't go back to a section once that section is ended. You can't go ahead to a new section if you finish early. You can't skip a section, and the test books will be counted to make sure that they're turned in to, again, so you don't try to send it to, I don't know, from California, where you probably live if you're listening to this. You can't send it to Guam or Hawaii or something so they have time to solve all the problems and then just go and bubble in everything. So that's what you want to make sure. There'll be some breaks. So for most students, there's one 10-minute and one 5-minute break during the test. You can eat and drink during that. Okay, don't try to get your cell phone or anything like that out. If you do, your score will be canceled. Your test books, answer sheets, and calculators must remain on your desk. Okay, that seems obvious, but just keep that in mind. And okay, cell phones and electronics. Well, they mention a lot. I've mentioned a lot. Just keep the cell phone, just really keep it at home. Don't bring it with you. All right, I think I have made my point. Probably as far as getting to any unknown test center, make sure you give yourself enough time that you get there a half hour early. That way, even if one horrible thing after another happens, you'll probably be okay on a Saturday morning. There shouldn't be much traffic, but if there is, if you plan to get there a half hour early, you'll still be okay. If you print out the directions from Google Maps or whatever MapQuest, whatever computer map thing, you'll be okay. If you put it in your cell phone, you'll be okay. If you've gone there the night before, you'll be okay. If you've gotten a good night's sleep, you'll be okay. If you don't panic over this and realize that you're just going to do the best you can, you'll be okay. If you realize that If you take more than a minute and you still have no idea what the answer to a question is, you should just guess. You'll be okay. Make sure that you skip through the reading sections and pick the ones that refer to topics you understand. You'll be okay. You should also know that the math sections go from easy to hard. So if something seems really easy at the beginning, it probably is that easy. If something seems really easy towards the end of the section, be very careful. If you pick a sucker punch answer, you're not going to be okay. So make sure that you're answering the math question that has been asked, not the one that you think they've asked, and that you're solving for the right variable, etc., etc. All right, at this point, I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to stop. So have a good day. Hope you will do okay on the SAT. If you need to contact me, you can reach me at www.johnlinneball.com. That's JohnLinneball.com. Or you can call me at area code 415-986-7355. Hope you're having a good day. Bye.